Alright, what is up everybody? Shout Scout 0013 here coming in with another video. This time on Iden Versio, the Battlefront 2 Queen, if you want to call her that. But I think she's one of the best Empire players in Battlefront 2 that I enjoy playing, I should say. The fact that she can take on Jedi with ID 10, just stun them and then get away, or at least bomb them. And yeah, her shield, there's just so much that makes her really, really good. And her sniper rifle, the fact that she's very versatile is amazing. But yeah, today I'm going to talk about her in a few different Empire lists. I won't do so many because I also did a lot with Callus and her. So if you want to look at Callus and get some other Iden Versio ideas, he's also great to pair with her because he's an operative, she's commander, and then he'll be able to give out orders to, core, and yeah, it just kind of works a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna go over that today. First, I just want to go over a few housekeeping things. So if you haven't joined the Discord yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and join up. It's free. We've got Coco who just streamed World Team Championships between like England and Sweden and Germany and US and France and a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of countries. So kudos to him. If you haven't followed him or subscribed to his channel, subscribe to him. He also helps to work on the audio for this channel on some videos, or most videos, I should say. There's sometimes when he is streaming that, we don't have time for it, but he's awesome. Definitely subscribe to him and join his Patreon so that you can help get him to different tournaments to stream. So yeah, that is just a little shout out for him. Head on over here to the Discord basically, and if you've got questions about different list ideas or just different stuff, if you need to post something that you're about to go to a store tournament, you're wanting some feedback or just some kind of maybe things that might work for your list, definitely post it down below. CIS is super active with a ton of people always there. Empire's pretty good. GAR's pretty great. I'll, comment a lot in Shadow Collective. And then, yeah, for the giveaways, if you want more giveaways, the more that you chat in Discord, the more chances you've got for the giveaways. So, yeah, next one will be coming up very shortly. I'll announce that next week. And so, yeah, go ahead and get all your stuff in. You can also be a subscriber and leave a comment, and that gets you in every video that I do. As long as you're posting something, you get an entry. And if you want to head on over to the Clan of Shadows Patreon, this is where you can get videos early, and you kind of help the channel grow and help with the giveaways. So please join and help out the channel. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. Iden Versio, an amazing character, such an amazing character. So she is 115 points base, and she's got an action you can take called Quick Thinking, which gives you an aim and a dodge. So she's just awesome. I don't know, like very efficient for her price and for what she does. She's got, a melee attack of 3 black. She's got 2 different types of guns you can use. She's got a sniper rifle that's 2 black, Pierce 1, high velocity, surging to hit with marksman, which I'll talk about in a second. And she's also got her repeater gun, which I absolutely love playing. Even with a heavy on Battlefront 2, I'm just always using the repeater. It's critical 1, impact 1, 2 red, 2 white, a black, so good. She surges to hit naturally, but with critical 1 on a repeater and impact 1, it's great against, any armor. And then with marksman, being able to spin an aim to up your dice by 1. So if it's a blank, you can marksman it to a hit. If it's a hit, you can marksman it to a crit, and then get tons of crits through. With her high velocity sniper rifle, if you have 2 aims and you roll 2 hits, well, you can now make them 2 crits, Pierce 1. And she's got Sharpshooter 1 now. She's got Nimble, so if you do Quick Thinking, and then you get that aim and a dodge, and then you shoot, and then now that you have an aim to spend while you're shooting, and then you have a dodge to keep her in defense, well, whenever you spend that dodge, you get it back with Nimble. And then Infiltrate. She just gets in the best position possible, so just awesome. And then 6 health and 3 courage, so tons of courage. 6 health is really good with the red dice, and then you can bring her ID 10 with her. And ID10 is an extra hit point. So technically, she could have 7 hit points. And then with shielded 1, you get a shield, which gives her a possibility of 8 HP. Now, if you're going up against Ion, it really sucks, but at least she's got recharge. So if you recover, or you get the free recover action with her 2-pip, then you can bring that shield back always, so it's awesome. The ID10 is small, so it can't be, used to attack. You can't measure your range to ID10. You actually have to measure it to Iden, so you can always cohere ID10 forward if you have to. And then observe 1 for free, so you can put out an observation token for free, and then do a quick thinking. So it's just so good. And I know I've even forgot observe when I've played Iden, but yeah, then you don't have to use her aim to re-roll. You can use the observation token to re-roll, and then use the aim for marksman, and just so good. She can get a lot of damage through. Now, you probably don't want her alone most of the time. You probably want her to have, she is a commander, but she's going to almost play like an operative, but she's going to survive as a commander for a while. And the fact that she's got Courage 3 as a commander means that your entire army is going to have a Courage 3 with a non-Jedi or a non-Force user commander. So I just love her. I almost think that she should be a staple in every list, but obviously that's not going to happen because of points, and because obviously there are things that you want to accomplish and stuff. So yeah, but she's so good. She's really good. And with ID10, she's 130. So she's got a command upgrade slot, 2 training slots, a gear slot, and a comm slot. So with the commander upgrade slot, you're probably going to bring improvised orders, maybe inspiring presence, which would be really good because then you can use her courage value at range 4 instead of just range 3. Lead by example. I mean, sure, if until we get the custom commanders, this could be okay to get some suppression off, especially in Empire when you really need it, especially when your cores are really Courage 1. Underworld connections could be okay. Strict orders, yes. I mean, 2 of her cards only give her an order to her, so it's not necessarily worth it to bring strict orders, I think. And vigilance is amazing. If you've got the points where you can put vigilance on her, you'd be able to, with nimble, you'd be able to keep that dodge. And then when she takes quick thinking again next round, if she does, well, she's going to keep that dodge. And then one of her command cards gives her a free dodge at the end of her action, along with a standby. And then you can use that dodge with quick thinking. You have 2 dodges now, and then at the end of the round, you'll be able to keep that dodge. Vigilance is so good with her, especially. So if you want to, especially just use her almost as, again, an operative, vigilance would be really good because then she'll be hanging out by herself, and she has a lot to offer by herself. Training slots, endurance and duck and cover, I don't think it necessarily is needed. Into the fray, if you want more for defense, yeah, sure, into the fray could be good. Especially if you know that you're playing up against a lot of melee-oriented lists or lists that want to get in your face, then into the fray will be good. Offensive push and on the hunt are probably the top 2, period, that you would want to put on her. On the hunt, I would say is number 1 because then you don't have to recover to get that free aim, but you have to shoot at units that have multiple health. Offensive push is number 2 because one of her command cards gives her a free recover action, and offensive push can be used just after a movement. So if you're not even shooting at a unit with multiple health, then offensive push is the way to go. Overwatch is also really good because one of her command cards gives her a standby. And then if you wanted to just move and take a standby, you could. I mean, it really just depends. Now, if you're pairing her with Krennic, then Krennic has a 2-pip that gives her a standby. Then she also has a 1-pip that gives her a standby. So on the hunt would be actually Overwatch would actually be kind of worth it at that point because now you've got 2 turns out of 5 that you're going to be giving her a standby. So that would be pretty good. Protector, she doesn't have Guardian, so I wouldn't say is needed. Seize the Initiative is good, especially if you have 2 operatives and another commander with her, and you're playing 2 commander, 2 operatives. Then Seize the Initiative would be great. Situational awareness is not as needed anymore since the new version of Legion has come out. you're just getting multiple hits through. And so having at least just a dodge is going to be fine. And with a shield, she's going to be able to use the shield to cancel crits. And so for right now, I would say situational awareness is no longer the hot upgrade to bring on her anymore. Tenacity, hopefully you're not trying to get her into melee very often. So I wouldn't necessarily go. My first choice would not be Tenacity. And up close and personal, she's more of a long range than a close range. And I know she's got a range 1 to 3 gun, but she also has that long range Infinity, which is not going to be worth her points in the long run if you're just keeping her long range. But up close and personal, yeah, if you pair that up close and personal with Vigilance and you're definitely doing your quick thinking a lot, then I would say up close and personal could be worth it a lot. But again, I would say on the hunt, offensive push and seize initiative would be the top 3, and then followed by maybe up close and personal 4, and then maybe Overwatch would be 5. Gear. I would say the thing that makes the most sense is prepared supplies, again, because of nimble. And then if you've got vigilance on there and up close and personal, well, then you're just dodging her out, and you're just making her almost impossible to kill. You could also do emergency stims, which will keep her alive a lot longer, especially if you've got medics. But emergency stims and prepared supplies, I think, are probably the top 2. You don't want electro binoculars or portable scanners because she's not a support. She's going to do the best doing damage. Targeting scopes isn't necessary because you're probably going to be spending your aims to up dice from a hit to a crit, or if they have no cover with sharpshooter 1, or maybe you don't have to worry about it, then targeting scope, again, you're changing a blank to a hit. You've got 2 red dice and a black dice, so your white dice are probably not hitting, but you don't want to spend an aim to reroll both and get 0 again. At least you're guaranteed a hit with 1 aim. Recon intel isn't necessarily because you infiltrate, so you don't really need to have recon intel. And then grappling hooks, environmental gear could be good. Yeah, so if you've got 2 extra points, environmental gear would be pretty awesome because then she's not going to be slowed down by difficult terrain, and especially if she needs to make that speed 2 move to just get line of sight to something. As long as she has line of sight to what you want to shoot, she can shoot it. So environmental gear will actually get her there. And then ascension cables and grappling hooks. If you want her to have the high ground, sure, why not? And then if she's by herself as the only commander, emergency transponders would not be great because you're always going to be trying to probably put an order on her. HQ uplink would be amazing to have, and comms jammer. Well, if you're planning again on getting really close, maybe tenacity and up close and personal could be good, or maybe on the hunt and up close and personal, because then you get an aim, you get a dodge. Her quick thinking can give you an aim and a dodge. Maybe you have vigilance on her. So let's just see. You put vigilance on her. Maybe you put up close and personal and offensive push on her. Okay, and then you give her the prepared supplies so that she stays alive, and then maybe you do comms jammer so that no one gets anything. That's 166 points. That's quite a bit. Darth Vader alone by himself is 170. And then, Boba Fett's 130 without any upgrades. So you almost might as well just bring Boba Fett, who might, up close and personal could be pretty decent. And then on the hunt would be pretty okay. Like this, if you're kidding him out, then the flame projector. Okay, so maybe instead of up close and personal, you give him CC initiative. And then for this one, maybe you give him prepared supply. Oh, emergency stims, because maybe you want to keep him alive a little bit longer. He's 154, but only, again, 5 health, and he surges to defense at least, and you might get something around there. But yeah, if you wanted to really kit her out, and maybe she will never die at 166, then maybe it could be worth it. I don't know. If you plan on playing Iden and want her to just never die, and you want to play this version of her, let me know, and let me see if she does die. Because, with the fact that with vigilance, if you do the quick thinking, you give it aim and a dodge. All right, well, every single round, she's going to have a dodge from now on out. From then on out, I should say. She's always going to have a dodge. And then with prepared supplies, she can get a second one. And then if you are in melee, instead of just aiming, you do your quick thinking. You have a third dodge, if that's the case. And then shields don't work in melee, but then you also can use ID10 to sacrifice before your last hit point. So then maybe she lives. And observe, it's just so crazy, so good. So I can't talk her up enough. She's an amazing, amazing commander. So if you get the chance to put her in a lot of lists, she's going to do really well. So yeah, let's take a look at her command cards real quick. She's got 4 command cards because she's just that awesome. So her 1-pip, Iden Versio, is the only one who's going to get the order. Pulse Scan is the command card. Iden Versio is going to gain an aim token and Sharpshooter 2 this round. So she's going to go ahead and get a free aim. Then you can do Quick Thinking to give yourself a second aim. She's got Sharpshooter 2, so don't have to worry about cover. And then, so maybe you move. Oh, sorry, no, okay. So you get your aim. You don't have to worry about that. You hopefully are in a very good position where you're at range 3 of something so that you can use the repeater, because then there's more hits going through. Just in case, if you're not and you can only use your sniper rifle, well, you do Quick Thinking. Now you've got 2 aims and a dodge, and then you just roll your black dice, and hopefully they're both hits or something. Maybe one's a crit and one's a blank. Well, now you can use 2 aims to make it 2 crits, pierce 1. You gave yourself a dodge. At the end of Iden Versio's next activation basically, she's going to gain a dodge and a standby. So when she's finished and you flip her order token face down, she's going to gain another dodge. So now you possibly have 2 dodges. And then if you had vigilance and you did your Quick Thinking last time with nimble and you keep it, so now you've got 3 dodges, and then you've got a possible 4th dodge with your prepared supplies, and then she's going to gain a standby. Now if you're at range 3 of something, or even range 2, because then the standby is really going to work. If you're at range 2 of something and you've used your repeater, it's so good. Because maybe you didn't have to spend the second aim. Maybe you did Quick Thinking and you only spend 1 aim. Well, now with the standby, you have another aim. You're probably going to want to spend that aim, the 2 aims on the first shot, because if she gains a suppression or is force pushed, she's going to lose the standby. So you're better off just second attack, just rolling, because you're probably not going to be, unless you're certain that you're not going to lose the standby because you're in melee maybe, then just go ahead and spend 1 aim. But yeah, this card's really good for her. Concussive Blast, one of my favorite cards. So when Iden Versio is going to start her activation this round, she can make a recover action. So she takes that free recover. She gets her shield back. She takes off all the suppression. She can get her offensive push back, so now she's set. And then during the activation this round, she's going to gain 5 red dice, range 1 to 2, blast, scatter, and suppressive. So you don't have to worry about your sharpshooter 1. There's just no cover in general. It's going to be suppressive, so now you're handing out 2 suppression. And then it's scatter, so you can move all of the other minis except for the unit leader and cohere them how you want, which now you're going to cohere them out of cover so that all of your other units can get that out of cover shot. So you're going to be able to do quite a bit with her. And then 5 red dice with marksman. That's just so good. So yeah, you're going to do a lot of damage with Concussive Blast. This is probably what I use more than shooting her normal repeater in Battlefront. I probably just almost just hold down, the right mouse button. It's so good. It's so nice. Okay, sorry. Incapacitate, which is one not a lot of people will think you have in your hand. And now that Callus doesn't have contingencies, you're not going to be able to bring it, sadly. But this is still a really good one. So in Iden Versio, she's going to get the order. And then for free, you can choose an enemy trooper unit within range 1 and in line of sight of ID 10. So technically, if the previous round you cohered ID 10 forward, knowing that they have a core unit, hopefully, coming in to be at least at range 1 of him, not quite range 1 of Iden, you can still use this. The chosen unit is going to gain 3 suppression tokens. So regardless of what unit it is, 3 suppression tokens is going to be awesome. And, maybe you wait to go with Iden, and then you shoot the unit that you're about to do this to once or twice at least, and put on a suppression at least, or 2. When you do this, you're going to immediately panic them. if they're courage 1. Now, if they're courage 2. If they're courage 3, then hopefully you probably shot at them 3 times before going with Iden, so that you can give them 6 suppression so that they panic, and then they don't score. Now, if it's a core unit, which is what you're really, really hoping for when you use this card, if the chosen unit is a core unit that has not activated this round, you're going to flip its order token face down, if able. But if the core unit token could not be flipped face down, instead assign it a face down order token from the controlling player's order pool. So basically, if it had a face up order token, you're flipping it face down. If it didn't have an order token to begin with, you're going to flip it face down, and that unit's already activated, can't do anything else this round, it's incapacitated, and it has 3 suppression. So, yeah. And then if you've already gone with Iden first, then you just keep shooting them, and then you can panic them. So it really doesn't matter when you go with Iden on this one. But it's nice if you were to try to go with Iden first if it's a core unit. So like maybe again if you're doing multiple heroes or villains in a list, and this is probably one I would bring where you want her to go after more of the chaff and the core, while you have Vader or someone going after the more expensive, heavier commander, other force users, then this is a great card to just go ahead and pull out an order token from them, and hopefully they can't pass again anymore, because now you've already gone through an order, and it's a good one. Your opponent's probably not expecting you to bring this because of how situational it is, but if you can put her in that situation and try to force her into that situation, then it's a good card. Tax Strike. This is her prized card. This is the one you're going to see all the time. So Iden Versio and 2 trooper units instead of 3 like it used to be. But 2 is fine. I'll say it. 2 is fine. So this round, Iden Versio or an allied special forces unit that has a face-up order token starts its activation. It can reduce its maximum speed to 1 until the end of the activation. And if it does, it's going to gain steady and tactical 1 until the end of that activation. So if you have Krennic on there, and you've got a Death Trooper squad, and then you've got the Inferno squad, and then maybe a 3rd Special Forces or a 4th Special Forces, because if you've got, obviously, Krennic, then a Death Trooper squad is automatic. So, at least if you have 2 more Special Forces, you give it to Iden, and then Krennic can entourage the Death Troopers, and then you can give it to Inferno squad, and then another, maybe Imperial Special Forces. So all of your Special Forces now have a face-up order token, and then maybe if you did have another Imperial Special Forces, so you have 4 Special Forces in there, you give one of them HQ uplink. So now all of your Special Forces again have a face-up order token and can benefit from this. It doesn't say Special Forces that were given an order. It just says that have a face-up order. So as long as there's a way to get face-up order tokens onto your Special Forces when you play this card, you're good. And then Iden Versio also benefits from this. So basically you infiltrate, because you might play this round 1. It depends. At least you infiltrate, and then with Iden you probably, because you don't have to have the range with Iden because of her long range sniper rifle, as long as she has line of sight. You can infiltrate in, quick thinking, take a move. So now you still have your 2 aims as if you were to move, and then you pop your offensive push on that move. So now you have 3 aims and a dodge, and then you can shoot. If you weren't doing this that round, you do it another round. Still same thing. As long as you're in position, you quick thinking, you move with tactical 1, you pop your offensive push, gain another aim, you've got your 3, and then you shoot your repeater. And then hopefully if you're at range 1, you can use Iden's Seeker Droid, which has a melee to range 1, 3 white dice suppressive. So if you wanted to, if you were at range 1 of anything, then you can use Iden Versio's 2 red, 1 black, 5 white with marksman, and then maybe use tax strike that turn. That would give you so many aims. That'd be so sick if you can time that right and make sure that she's alive and able to do that. And then with the Inferno squad, you do it. You have retinue aim, and then maybe you have on the hunt or offensive push, which could give you a 2nd aim, and then you double move at speed 1, which giving you 2 more aims. So that's 4 aims. maybe you can split fire at that point and use the high velocity on units that have a dodge so they can't spin the dodge, and then you can spend 2 aims to either make 1 a crit and then spend 1 for lethal to make it pierce, or you marksman one of them again. Now you've got 2, and you spend another one to pierce. And then when you shoot your other 2 red, 2 black, you've still got 2 aims that you can use, either to reroll, which you might reroll, and then 1 to up 1 to another crit or whatever you need to, and get a lot of hits through. So Iden Versio and Inferno Squad are going to be really good. So yeah, I guess I should talk about the Imperial Special Forces Inferno Squad, which is Retinue Iden Versio. So if you ever play Iden Versio, you are definitely going to be bringing Imperial Special Forces onto the table, because Retinue gives them a free aim or dodge. They have Reliable One, which gives them a surge token specifically for defense. They have Marksman, again, same thing, spend the aim to up your dice. Infiltrate, and Del Miko and Gideon Hask. So real quick, if you give an order to the Imperial Special Forces, Gideon Hask can coordinate to a Core Trooper unit. And then that's why I was saying, then you also bring Callus, and then you direct a Core Trooper unit. So then you have at least 2 Core Trooper units that have an order. And the Courage is now Courage 3. So you have now 2 units that are Courage 3 and very deadly. Because then also, Gideon is a leader with 2 red dice, range 1 to 3. Super good. And he can also go just in any core, or, be in here. And then Del Miko has the ability to repair 2 wounds once off of any vehicle, or droid trooper, I should say. And then his gun, his sniper rifle, is high velocity and lethal 1. So again, if you spend an aim, you can make it pierce. And it's high velocity, so no one can spend a dodge token against this. And so if you pair, the Imperial Special Forces up with IG-11 or 88, you can take 2 wounds off of them. So good. Really, really good. And if you bring an ATST, then you can take 2 wounds off once immediately. And then maybe if you're in your army, you also had an astromech, that's an extra possible 2 more wounds at some point on the ATST off. So yeah, this combo is such a fun combo. So if you ever get the chance to use them, it's so much fun. So let's go over a few different lists. Let's go over the indoor list. I think this is the indoor one. So you have Iden with Improvised and On the Hunt with her Seeker Droid. And then you've got 3 Stormtroopers. 2 of them have the Stormtrooper Specialist so that they can get that free aim when they want for free. And then that way they can stay a little bit more mobile. You've got the 2 Imperial Special Forces with the T-21 and Offensive Push. And then you have Inferno Squad with On the Hunt and Gideon and Del Miko. You've got 3 Speeder Bikes, and you have an ATST. So 11 activations, 1,000 points. The ATST has the Hammer's Pilot, the Emergency Transponder, so if they don't get an order, they get a free aim, and then, or dodge, or whatever. And then they have the Twin Light Blaster Cannon, so they're rolling 9 dice. It's a triple rainbow. Triple rainbow all the way across this field. And yeah, 3 Speeder Bikes are going to be pretty good. And then, so that's 11 activations again. It's indoor themed. It's a themed list. I'm going to start doing, in every video, a themed list, a fun random list, and then maybe one that might seem a little bit more competitive, something that you might see on a table more at a tournament. Maybe, my ideas might be non-competitive to some people. I don't care. Hopefully you have some fun with them. The commands, I'm going to bring Incapacitate and Concussive Blast. I'm going to bring Incapacitate, again, because probably no one's thinking that I'm going to bring it. And, with the ATST and the Speeder Bikes, you can probably try to have fun with the Speeder Bikes and the ATST and go after the main guy. And then, with Iden, hopefully there's a lot of core coming at you, and you can just incapacitate them, which is good. You could go with Pin Down, which is probably the smarter option, because then you can give it to the ATST and a speeder bike, or 2 speeder bikes, because then when the speeder bikes and or the heavy makes an attack against a unit with a face-up order token, that token is going to be shuffled back into the order pool, and so now they no longer have a face-up order token and can go with that unit. So, not gonna lie, pin down is the choice to go with if you're smart. I'm just being thematic and want more for her. So, incapacitate is what I'm bringing. If all the lists are in the descriptions down below, so if you want to practice or try this random indoor list, then you can take that out if you'd like. But 11 activations with an ATST and 3 speeder bikes with 3 special forces and Iden, 11 activations is not bad. And then with Del Miko can heal 2 wounds off the ATSTs or ATST and or a speeder bike. So that's a lot of fun. And then with your battle plans, intercept the signals, bunker assault, and close the pocket. Because you have to infiltrate, bunker assault because if they're running towards you and you have the ATSD, you can do a lot with that. If you have infiltrate and the bikes, you can really focus on just trying to go after one bunker and just do what you can with the speeder bikes to, thin them down, and then use the special forces to charge in a little bit more, especially with offensive push. And with infiltrate, you're already getting really close, and so there's a lot you can do with that one. And then intercept the signals with the bikes. No doubt you're going to be able to get to their very back objective real quickly, and they're going to want to probably hold that back signal or comms spot more so than anything else, just so you don't get it. I have surface scan because with surface scan you can put them on the bikes for sure, and with sweep and clear, obviously it's going to be with the bikes very easy to hopefully be in your enemy territory and take out a unit if you can survive that long. I understand, I get it. Hey, I'm trying to look at the possibilities here. And destroy enemy base is really good too with bikes because you're going to be able to, again, get to that bomb fairly quickly with the bikes. And they're going to have to really focus on your bikes more so than hopefully the primary objective. So, yeah. And then advanced intel, cunning, and ordnance in case you run up against a lot of armor because you don't have any impact, but you do have marksman and critical 2 with the T-21. So the critical 2 on the T-21s and marksman on 4 of your units, you can definitely make that impact happen or get those crits through. The speeder bikes have impact. If both of them are alive, it'll be impact 2. And the ATST is going to have impact 4. Yeah. So, alright. So technically you're good on impact. But ordnance would be more fun because then you don't have to keep wasting shots, hopefully, on armor if you get some crits through and put those 2 wounds on it. And then you just still can put a suppression. So I think it's better than strafing run, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. So this is a lot of damage happening, a lot of chaos, hopefully, that you are creating with this indoor. And it's not a battle force. It's just a Battlefront 2 themed list that you can take. All right, let's go to a Hell on Earth 16-act list. This one's going to have Iden with Lead by Example on the hunt. So lead by example so she can get that inspire. If you don't want lead by example and you wanted to go with, inspiring presence to save some points, you could. And that's an extra 3 points that you could possibly save. But I figured being able to take off some suppression would actually be pretty decent. And if you wanted more points out there, you can do that. And then with on the hunt, environmental gear, so again that she can keep on moving without having to slow down, and her seeker droid. Let's just say we did go with inspiring presence instead. We got rid of environmental gear and we get rid of emergency transponder. There's 9 more points that you can use. Maybe put offensive push on her in case you need it to make her a little bit more aggressive. And then you've got 3 points. Maybe, let's just say smoke grenades. You can change those out for impact grenades if you need it to. But yeah, now she's going to be really decked out. If we wanted to go with what we could last time and get rid of smoke grenades, let's see, get rid of offensive push. Maybe instead of this, you go with vigilance. Let her keep that dodge. And then we have improvised orders on there, but in case you don't want improvised orders on here, then now you can go with prepared supplies on Iden. And now, again, you just make her very, very hard to kill. And you keep lead by example on Krennic, and then improvised orders on Krennic, and then electro binoculars, so that way he's got spotter 2, so he can give 1 aim to Iden, 1 aim to Inferno Squad, and then he can take an aim as an action. So he's, as long as he's in position, you're good. And that'll hand out a lot of aims that he can also spend with Exemplar. If you don't want electro binoculars, maybe you go with Recon Intel so that he can do a scout move, and then spotter 1. And then next round he's in position to spotter 1 and take an aim. That's 1 less aim, but you're in position a lot quicker, and it's the same point. So if in the description down below you wanted to change that out, you could. I'll still, since there's only 2 points left, put environmental gear on her, unless you decided to take off improvised orders, in which case then I would put, the prepared positions or prepared supplies on her. So yeah, that'd be good. And then you've got 6 shore troopers, 6 mortars. And the reason I have 6 shore troopers on there is to get the 6 mortars with the free standby due to fire support. So you have 6 free standbys at range 3. And now your opponent's going to be thinking twice, because now you can shoot twice. And with the fact that the weapons are suppressive, that's a ton of suppression you're going to be putting out. And then the shore troopers with prepared positions, along with the mortars having prepared positions, who can also take an aim for a long shot and just start keeping your opponent hopefully away from you, then that's easy. The Imperial Death Troopers have a range 1 to 4 config. If not, it's normally range 1 to 3. And then the Imperial Special Forces are range 1 to 3, but they also have a sniper, which is long range. Iden's long range. So hopefully turn 1, you're trying to suppress and take out a unit, possibly 2 from long range. And then the closer they get, hopefully the deadlier you get. And yeah, I mean, that's honestly, the free standbys is going to be so good on these mortars, who can possibly, if they utilize those free standbys, possibly put out 4 suppression on their turns, basically, throughout the whole round. So, and if they were to be able to put out 4 suppression, that's 24 suppression that they alone themselves could be doing. That's the max. Obviously, that's a very high number, but it's still going to be worth it if you can utilize that to its maximum potential. Yeah. And then Inferno Squad has On the Hunt, and then the Imperial Death Troopers, which you get a free order from Entourage, has Offensive Push and the DLT. So another long range heavy. So lots of stuff to do with this. And I think electro binoculars is needed because the shore troopers are very hungry for an aim. The death troopers are hungry for an aim. The Imperial Special Forces are hungry for an aim. Iden's hungry for an aim. So that's why I put the electro binoculars on there instead of recon. But it is a very tough choice. And then lead by example, because no one else has a way to get rid of suppression on others except for rolling on it. So I figured lead by example would be good. Now, if you wanted to save extra points, again, maybe you didn't want electro binoculars on there and you go with recon, and instead of environmental gear, and instead of improvised orders, you could go with strict orders. Maybe you put strict orders on there instead. That could actually be pretty decent because, maybe, no, strict orders would not be good on Krennic right now because, again, maybe only Iden is getting an order. If you're able to really do a lot for the shore troopers, sure, maybe strict orders could be good for 2 rounds out of the 5 with, Iden's 3-pip and the 3-pip for commands I've put is coordinated fire. You give it to 3 shores who can then coordinate to the mortars. So now you've got 6 units with an face-up order token. So now that's why strict orders could be good for that turn. And then maybe with tack strike, you've got, the Imperial Special Forces getting one order, Iden getting the second order, and then you have two more orders to give out because the Death Troopers are going to have entourage, so they're going to get a free order. And then so maybe you give it to Krennic and a shore trooper, or you give it to two shore troopers who then possibly coordinate it to two mortars. So strict orders could be good for those 2 turns. I've got deploy the garrison on there, so you're definitely giving it to Iden to give her a free standby, and then if the Inferno Squad is in a good position, give it to Inferno Squad, and then, again, entourage goes out, so you don't have to worry about special forces in your bag, and Iden's already got one, so it's only going to be core in your bag, followed by a single Krennic. So that's why I'm like, improvised orders you probably don't need, so strict orders could be in there instead, and vigilance and on the hunt, environmental gear, so good on her. Yeah, oh man. So lots of fun with this one. 16 activations with red saves and possibly cover saves. So hopefully these guys stay alive long enough to be able to do a lot. And so your objectives have to be carefully chosen because your mortars probably don't want to move. Now they'll be able to with a free standby. So with the standby, instead of shooting, if you need to move closer to the objective, and then when it's your turn, you can aim and shoot, and you don't have to worry about cumbersome. That is a great thing to do. Now with breakthrough, as long as you're in position, you're good. Intercept the signals. You've got one in the back that two of your mortars could stay with. Bunker assault is probably going to be the better one. So recover the research could be okay because everyone's going to be coming to you instead. Close the pocket. There's a lot of movement, and you don't want to be doing a lot of movement with that one. So maybe instead of breakthrough, we go with recover the research. Because everyone trying to come to you, you've got long shot, you've got all that stuff. Shifting priorities could go instead of recover the research because with shifting priorities, the first 2 rounds, as long as you are aiming and shooting or trying to be in a good position to where you can just shoot majority of that time, then you will probably be good. Because if they're going to be trying to gain a hold of the objectives, if in round 2 they control probably at least 2, no more than 2, but if they score 3, then okay, that's fine, as long as the secondary is doing good for you. And you just move the shifting priorities closer to you because you're speed 1 on 12 of your units, and then now everything's closer to you, so all you have to do is move and shoot. So the first 2 rounds you're aiming and shooting, aiming and shooting with everybody, and then with the free standbys, you move with the mortar, and so now you're in position so you can shoot. So shifting priorities could be really good for you if you didn't want recover the research. With at least recover the research, with prepared positions, you're basically scoring without having to do anything, so you can still aim and shoot, but if they are contesting it, they're getting a point. So at least with shifting priorities, if you're aiming and shooting for 2 rounds, hopefully you've thinned them out enough so that by round 3, after you've shifted the priority POIs to you, you can probably do as much damage as possible with your units, and hopefully you still have enough to do a lot, but it really just depends. Close the pocket. You have at least Iden and Inferno that can infiltrate and kind of start moving that way. And because of retinue and offensive push and the free recover and one of her command cards giving her the aims, you could go with close the pocket. I would just test it out. So bring them to heal, I've got, because your opponent's probably going to not want this one. And that's fine. You're going to have a ton of ways to put out suppression without having to bring Krennic's 3-pip. And so they're probably going to just assume, because you're bringing Krennic and bring them to heal, that you've got it and that's an automatic win for you. So they're going to do it anyway. So don't worry about it. Sweep and clear is going to be good, and surface scan is going to be okay. Sweep and clear, you might have to be a little careful because the fact that they could possibly get the enemy territory with your well then let's see, actually let's change that out for the recon, because then with the recon, your 2 units that are outside of your deployment zone could be, oh sorry, not recon, that's surface scan. So instead of recon, because you don't want to get that close with her, maybe mark targets. That would, okay, so because you've got long range, because the fact that everyone is going to be, Iden's going to be really hard to kill, and she's going to be far back. She shoots long range, so if you had to make sure that no one got close enough to her, you could. And then, Inferno Squad is also could be long range. And then they're probably going to pick the Death Troopers, which if you get a recover action, you're range 4, but if not, at least you're range 3. You can move with Spotter. Krennic could be one. Who knows? That's what I would assume. Those are the four that they're going to target. But you're going to be hopefully safe enough with the amount of firepower you have. I have Ordnance, Advanced Intel, and Common Deployment in there. Ordnance again because there's no impact in here. It's all just marksman. Okay, so you have the DLT, which has impact 1. The mortars have critical 1. You have marksman on these, so you can get some crits through. Marksman on her, so that you can get some crits through, and impact on her rifle. So you're relying on surging to crit, hopefully, and marksman, or those criticals and marksman. So, yes. 16 activations, though. That's a lot, and that's a ton of suppression. Tons of suppression. And hopefully free actions with that standby. And then the last but not least, the one that I think could be at least a little bit more competitive than these is Iden Versio with Improvised on the hunt in her Seeker Droid. So more of an operative than a commander, but the fact that she's got Courage 3 is amazing. I have Operative Vader, which is Courage 3. With Burst of Speed, Push into the frame Tenacity, and technically round 1 if you wanted to infiltrate him. So I don't know if you have heard the debate that I had in the Empire chat, or I don't know if it was the Empire chat or General, whatever it was, where some people are like, is Commander Vader better or Operative Vader better? They both have really good things. It just doesn't matter which one you pick. It just depends on the list and your playstyle. I think the Operative Vader is better in the fact that he's going to do more damage in the long run because of the fact that he has... you can infiltrate him and still get surge tokens through into the fray. With Commander Vader, if you infiltrate him, you don't get reliable too. So then you can't surge offensively and you can't surge defensively except through deflect. With Darth Vader, you can surge through deflect, you can surge offensively through Jedi Hunter, and you can surge with into the fray. So you got more chances to do damage, and you've got more chances to survive in melee while infiltrating. So that's why I love Vader. And you still have Tenacity, so you still get the 6 red dice, and you at least have Burst and Push, and you still have a ranged attack. So instead of having to waste, Saber Throw to get a ranged attack, you still get it. And it's a Blast, so no cover, and Scatter. It's not Pierce, I get it. But the fact that it's Scatter is going to be great for the next turn for him, because then it means that unit is closer to you. And so if you had to measure range 1 for Force Push, you can measure it, move their unit leader, speed 1, and then cohere everyone forward again, and then so that way you can aim and move, and you've completely moved them off of where they need to be by a long shot. So, and you still get access to all of Vader's cards. Operative Vader is, to me, the way to go. You have Din, again, Courage 3, Tenacity, the Flame Projector, the Jetpack, and Beskar Spear. So at least you've got some pretty decent melee threats between these two, Darth Vader and Din. You've got high courage leaders, which is what's needed. You've got 4 snow troopers, because why not maximize activations? The fact that you've got a limit. You can do 2 actions per unit. With snow troopers, you could do technically 3 actions per unit. So the activation economy, or whatever, is much better with the snows. Yeah, you're not moving as fast. You're still moving at speed 3 and still getting a shot in. With stormtroopers, you're moving speed 2, and then you can shoot. And that's, again, no aim on either of them. So you're moving farther, while still getting shots in with the snowtroopers. And then you have Inferno Squad with Gideon and Delmico, no other upgrades. And you've got 3 Dewback Riders. So then you've got one with Tenacity and HQ Uplink. You've got another one with just Tenacity, and then another one with the Flame Rifle. So the point is the kind of spread out the points with HQ Uplink not on this one, so it's not 90, and the other ones are 76. At least this one's 86, 80, and 76. You kind of spread those points out, and then the Dewback Rider with the Flamethrower. Hopefully your opponent tries to melee them and move into base contact, basically. You can still move out of base contact. You can withdraw and still get a shot off with the Flamethrower. So, that's why I think the Flamethrower is good, especially with not only gigantic activations, thanks to Ollie. If you didn't watch the tournament this past weekend, on Coco-Zula's channel, go back and watch it. The fact that 6 activations could beat 18 activations of Rebels, I should say, but still 18 activations is crazy to me. So I think we're going to probably see a lot more massive activation units or massive mini units. So the Flames are going to be great. And you've got 2 of them between Din and the Dewback Rider. And so you play Vader's 2-pip, you pop HQ Uplink. Now all your Dewbacks have an order. You give them a wound, which activates Tenacity. And you triple move and get Relentless in. So you've got 8 units that can have Relentless, Steady, between Darth Vader, 4 Snowtroopers, and 3 Dewbacks. And then Din, on his round 1, or 1 pip, gets Relentless. So now you have 9 units out of your 11 that turn that have an extra action to attack. So your action economy is really good. That's all I'm trying to say. And then you've got 2 flame projectors, so your offensive output is really good. And Din is really fast. Your Dewbacks will teleport across the board with Vader's 2-pip. And so let's take a look at the commands I've got. This is the way, because having, again, a free action is much better than Sharpshooter 2. And a standby, because standby, it does give you another chance to attack, but if they shoot it off, it's not good. So Din's going to be able to get an extra attack this way. Implacable, again, giving you an extra ability to attack, so your action economy is really good. I like those odds, giving you a second attack on Din. Super good. New ways to motivate them, allowing you to teleport your Dewbacks across the table and do a ton of damage. And then Master of Evil to hand out a crap ton of suppression, give Vader a dodge, and just go ham. And then Darkness Ascends round 1 so that you can infiltrate Vader. You don't have to worry about Reliable 2 because you've got into the fray. And Jedi Hunter, in case you do have to go up against a Jedi. Now, I know a lot of people say Jedi Hunter is not that great of a keyword because Vader's got to go up against them and it's going to be uneven, blah, blah, blah. Hey, a chance is worth it. And at least you've got the keyword. At least if this situation arises and it's like not that strong. Maybe like it's Inquisitors. They're Force users. It's great. Maybe it's Commander Luke. That's great. Maybe not so great against Anakin or Obi-Wan with the fact that he can, dim or Sorisu stuff. But it's still better than not surging. I would much rather still surge to hit or crit than not surge and have to spend a surge token on offense than defense. So, yeah. I like this list. It's 11 activations. So, pretty decent. You're looking at a very good activation range. And you've got Iden, Din, Darth Vader. They all fill different roles. You have Bounty. You've got 3 Dewbacks in here. So, you've got 5 melee threats, 2 really heavy ranged threats, maybe even 3 if you really want to count Din as both. And then short snowtroopers to go after the objectives and still get a shot off. Seems like fun to me. But if you've got questions, definitely head to the Discord and ask. If you want any of these lists, they're in the descriptions down below. But thanks, guys, for watching. Sorry that these videos are so long, but there's just so much to cover. If you really want like some strategy and why I'm building these lists, and kind of like the thought process behind these lists, so that if you do want to play them, and or if you do want some of the synergies that these lists have to offer, or just different ideas, hopefully you're kind of getting a little bit more of an idea of how to play these units and how well they go together. But yeah, all right, guys, that is it. Thanks for watching. Head on over, like I said, to the Discord. Join up. Start talking. Show off your finished minis, and let us see how awesome your paint jobs are. Auburn alumni has been going crazy getting all of these things painted. Nuclear Potato with his B2s. Auburn alum with the sleeper cells, and LMAO Maui with some arcs and phase 2s. Show off. Go and show us what you got. Make sure you're a subscriber and you head on over to the Clan of Patreon, or the Patreon, Clan of Shadows, and help support the channel. And that is it, guys. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.